Hi, Macy. So we're going to go ahead and do our first video today, and I'm going to just teach you different graphemes, and then I'll teach you different concepts later. So you should have your Kid 4 book. It's purple and it looks like this. You're going to need to turn to the very first page, and at the top it says Word Spelling Formula Practice 1. So that's what we're going to work on first. So today we will be practicing adding vowel suffixes to the base words ending with one vowel and one consonant. You'll need to decide whether to double the final consonant before adding the base word. So let's look at our first word. You have guarded, G-A-R-D-E-N, plus ing. So we're looking at base word plus suffix. So let's review. A base word is a plain English word. A suffix is a letter or letters added to the end of a base word to change its meaning. A base word plus a suffix makes a derivative. Okay, and we're going to make a derivative. So, when you're looking at a base word that ends in a vowel consonant and you're adding a vowel suffix, how do I know this is a vowel suffix? Because it starts with a vowel, I. So ing is a vowel suffix. You need to code your base word to see where the accent goes. So garden. I would code garden, combination AR, so I would put an arc and a circumflex, and then the E is short, a vowel and closed syllable short, and I code it with a breathe. So the word is garden. The accent would go on the first syllable, which would be before the R. Remember, accent means to say the word louder, longer, and stronger. So when you say garden, you're actually saying the first syllable louder, longer, and stronger. Garden. Okay? So that tells you if you need to double the N, the consonant, before adding the vowel suffix. Because the accent is on the first syllable, we don't double the N. So when we are trying to make the derivative gardening, we would just spell it. G-A-R-D-E-N-I-N-G. You can go ahead and write that on number 1, gardening. Okay. The reason why we don't double the N is because it's in an unaccented, it's before an unaccented syllable. So E-N, D-E-N is unaccented, which is the second syllable in gardening, and we're adding a vowel suffix, so therefore you just add. You don't have to double the N. Let's look at the next word. Base word, slender. Suffix, E-S-T. Okay? My base word is slender. It's a 2-syllable word. And when I would code this word, I know a vowel and a closed syllable short, I code it with a breathe. And combination ER, you put an arc and a tilde. Let's just kind of review to make sure you remember when you divide words. So, we need a label. E is a vowel, N is a consonant, D is a consonant, E is a vowel. This is a VCCV word. Most words are divided between the consonants. So, if I was trying to figure out how to pronounce this word, I would divide it between the consonants. The first syllable says slin. The second syllable says der. The word is slender. The accent most of the time falls on the first syllable. So you would say the first syllable louder, longer, and stronger. Slender. That tells Miss Lorne, or tells us, that when we add EST, because the accent's on the first syllable, you don't have to double the R. You're just going to add it. So, slenderest. That's the derivative we're going to make. S-L-E-N-D-E-R. And you just add your vowel suffix, E-S-T. Slenderest. Okay? Let's do a couple of more. Number 3, happened. Base word, happen. Suffix, ed. It's a vowel suffix, so you always want to look to see if it's a vowel suffix. And yes, this base word, excuse me, is a 2-syllable base word. So, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. We usually divide between the 2 consonants. The vowel and closed syllable short, coded with the breve. Vowel and closed syllable short, coded with the breve. We accent the first syllable. The word is happen. Because the first syllable is accented, that tells Miss Lorne that we need to just add the suffix. We don't have to double the N. So the derivative would be happen. H-A-P-P-E-N-E-D. Happened. We're going to do one more together and then you'll do the rest by yourself. On number 4, balloting. Base word ballot. Suffix ing. You look at your base word, okay? I see that it's a 2-syllable base word because also I can see that it has 2 vowels, sounded vowels, an A and an O. So I know it's a 2-syllable base word. If I need to code it or label it, A is a vowel, L is a consonant, L is a consonant, and O is a vowel. I know I usually divide between the 2 consonants, a vowel and closed syllable short, coded with a breve, a vowel and closed syllable short, coded with a breve, and the accent's going to go on the first syllable. So that tells Miss Lorne that because the accent's on the first syllable and I'm adding a vowel suffix, I'm just going to add. I don't have to double the T at the end of the base word. So the word is balloting. B-A-L-L-O-T-I-N-G. Balloting. So I'm going to let you go ahead and finish the rest of this page, word spelling formula practice 1. So you're going to look at your base word. You're going to look at your vowel suffix. If the base word is accented on the first syllable, you just add your vowel suffix. You don't have to double the last consonant. Okay? Now, you can pause the video and finish your word spelling formula. And Miss Lorne's going to go ahead and go on to the next learning in your book. So this is where we learn a new letter or a new grapheme. I'm going to give you a second to get that, and I'm going to get my open. today, which is on the next page. It's kind of different when you're not in the classroom with me, but just say these words with me. Say my, why, try. What sound did you hear in all the words? Hopefully you heard the sound I. My, why, try. Okay. In what position did you hear all those sounds? Was it in the initial, which is the beginning, medial, which was the middle, or final, which was at the end? My, why, try. You heard it in the final position. What letter usually stands for I? Usually the letter I stands for I. But in these words, or just in our English language, there aren't many words that end in Y. There really aren't. So there's a different letter that sounds like I, but it's not an I. When I write my, M-Y, or Y, W-H-Y, what letter is in the final position? Y. So our new graphing for today is Y. The key word and sound for Y in our book or in our cards is fly, I. Fly, I. That's our key word and sound. And the way we code I in the final position, because we know our vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Well, Y in a final position is considered a vowel. So we code it with a dot because that lets us know that this one, it sounds like an I, and it's a long vowel sound, I. So we put a macron above it. That's how you're going to code vowel Y. You're going to put it with a dot and a macron. Now let's talk about if this is in the accented or unaccented position. So say the word my. It has one syllable. It's one syllable word. So that means the whole word is accented. We say that word louder, longer, and stronger. So it's accented. The whole word is accented. So that tells us that that Y sounds like an I. The next word is Y. Y. One syllable word. It's accented. So that tells us that that Y is going to sound like an I because it's a one syllable base word and the whole word is accented. So it is an I sound. So on the next page, you are going to practice your cursive Y, the letter Y. And I'm just going to show you, remember we have 4 approach strokes. We have swing up, stop, push up and over, curve under, over, stop, and swing up, loop left in cursive. So the letter Y, this is a printed Y, and a cursive Y would be the push up and over letter. So I'm going to make a cursive Y. Push up and over, swing up, stop, release. That shape really changed from the printed Y, but the letter is still the same. I'm going to erase and make a better cursive Y. This is for you to practice your cursive. So you're going to push up and over, swing up, stop, pull down, release, Y. So you're going to practice this. We also like to practice using our arms and skywriting for our memory muscle. So you would stand and you would hold the arm that you write with and you would say Y, Y, Y. Do that 3 times to help you get it in your memory muscle. Then you need to trace and then write your letter Y's. Once you do that, you need to turn the page and code and read the words with Y in the final position and they're accented. If you need to pause the video, you're more than welcome to. But Miss Lorne's kind of going to go on and code the first 3 words so you'll know how to do it. We have B-Y, M-Y, and S-O-Y. So we always code our vowels. Well, let's review our coding. So a vowel and closed syllable is short, we code it with the breathe. A vowel and open accented syllable is long, we code it with the macron. And today we learned that vowel Y in an accented position is long. We code it with a dot and a macron. So the first word is B-Y. I find my vowel, which is Y. I know that this word is accented because it's a 1-syllable base word. I put a dot and a macron. The word is by. Do the next one. I know it's a 1-syllable base word because it only has 1 vowel. And the Y is in the final position, so I'm going to put a dot in the macron. The word is my. And the last one on the first row, it's a 1-syllable base word, so I'm going to accent it. The Y is in the final position, so I'm going to put a dot and a macron. The word is slide. You can now code and practice reading all the words on MTA reading practice number 1. On the next page is reading practice number 2. These are words that they just want you to practice reading. You don't have to read all the words. I usually like to do at least 1 through 6. And if you can't read it, then you need to code them, just like we've always have coded our words. So now we're going to move on to day 2. Pretend if you need to stop the video or stop for today, this is what you would learn the next day. So, on the next day, if you keep going in your book, you'll see the letter Y again because we're learning Y again and it makes a different sound. Vowel Y makes 2 different sounds. We learned that vowel Y made an I sound, and now we're going to learn what other sound that it makes. So say these words after me. Puppy, country, sunny. What sound did you hear in all of the words? E. Touch your vocal cords and make the sound. E. E. Is it voiced or unvoiced? E. Your throat vibrates, so it's voiced. Also, if you look at your mouth, E, to make that sound, there's nothing blocking the air. So that means that it's open. So is it a vowel or is it a consonant? We know it's a vowel because vowels are always open and voiced. What vowel do you think that E is? Hopefully you said E. Yes, we know that E, long E, makes the E sound. But now I'm going to teach you another letter that makes an E sound. When I write puppy, P-U-P-P-Y, or country, C-O, let's do sunny, S-U-N-N-Y. We don't even see an E in these words, so there's another letter making that E sound. Puppy, sunny. What letter is making the E sound? The Y. Wow. So the Y, it makes another sound besides I, and it's an E sound. What position is the Y? You can see it's in the final position, just like in the word fly. This time, our keyword in sound is penny E. Penny E. Penny E makes an E sound. Okay, what were you guys saying? We have a macron, a dot for the, it's a vowel Y, and we put an E above it to say that it makes an E sound. So let's look at our word to see how to code E, Y when it's an E sound, like in puppy. First, you have to look and see that this is a two-syllable base word because there's two voice vowels. U is a vowel, P is a consonant, P is a consonant, and Y is a vowel in the final position. We usually divide between the two consonants. A vowel and a closed syllable short, coded with a breathe, and now we know that Y in the final position is a vowel. So we need to figure out, is it going to be an E sound or an I sound? Well, we usually put an accent on the first syllable. So this syllable is unaccented. So when you have a Y in an unaccented syllable, it's going to sound like an E. So we're going to put, just like our code marks, a dot, which we still put a dot to tell us that it's a vowel. It's a vowel Y, but we also put an E above it. Let's see. No, that's a breathe. So we're going to put a breathe because it's short. No. Sorry. You put a dot and you put an E above. Why do they have a dot? Okay. You make an E and you put a macron above it because it's small. Pin E. Sorry. So you're going to put an E and a macron above the E on the Y. Let's look at sunny. Okay, I know this is a two-syllable base word because it has two voice vowels. Vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. We usually divide between the two consonants. U is closed, it's short, because it's closed by this consonant, so you cut it with a breathe. The Y is in the final position, and I know the accent falls on the first syllable, so this would be an E sound with a macron. The word is sunny. So, to code a Y in the final position in an unaccented syllable, it's going to sound like an E. You're going to practice the letter Y again in cursive, just for practice. But when you turn the page this time, you're going to code the words that have Y in the final position in an unaccented syllable, which is going to sound like an E. Miss Lauren's going to code the first row with you. Let's review our codes before we start. A vowel and closed syllable short, we're going to code it with a breathe. A vowel and open accented syllable is long, we're going to code it with a macron. And today, we're learning vowel Y. Can sound like an E. We're going to put an E above the Y and a macron because it's a long vowel sound, E. And this is in an unaccented syllable. So I'm going to write our words across. Okay, with row 1 on reading practice 4, we have, I know this is a two-syllable base word because I see two voice vowels. So I know if I need to label vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, I usually divide between the two consonants. A vowel and closed syllable short, you're going to code it with a breathe. Accent the first syllable, and the Y is going to sound like an E. So you're going to make an E and a macron. The word is Eddie. Eddie. Okay? Let's look at the next one. I only see one vowel, which is Y, in the final position. So I know that this word is accented. The whole word, because it's a one syllable base word. Digraph TH, I underline. This Y is going to sound like an I. I'm going to put a dot and a macron. I know it sounds like an I because it's in an accented syllable. The word is thigh. Go to your next word on row 1. I know it's a two-syllable base word because I see two voiced vowels. So I'm going to label. A is a vowel, B is a consonant, S is a consonant, E is a vowel. Divide between the two consonants. A vowel and closed syllable short, coded with the breathe. Accent the first syllable, vowel and closed syllable short, coded with the breathe. The word is absent. Absent. And the next word, I look and I see it has a final stable syllable goal. Remember, Macy, you code your final stable syllables with a bracket. We never accent final stable syllables. We know that's going to say goal. Well, we accent our first syllable, and UR is a combination. Combination UR. So combinations, we put an arc and a circumflex in an accented syllable. The word is gurgle. Gurgle. I'm going to let you finish. You can code at least rows 1 through 6, but if you want to do the whole page for practice, you are more than welcome. I'm going to stop right here today for this video. Remember to go through your decks, and I'll make a new deck video too, flipping through the decks. That's important to do every day before, or just for practice. All right.